Hello and welcome to AltheaSuite. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple invoice. So to get started, we're going to go into our sales module and then go into sales invoices. Once we get into here, we will need to do a new invoice. So create invoice button is up there on the top left. Now, when it comes to creating your sales invoice, we do need to select a customer. So in this case, we're going to choose Bill Nye as my customer to use. And then for Bill Nye, I'm going to be using his billing address as a shipping address. So it's going to go to Seattle, Washington. So now when I scroll down over here, you can see right now my current invoice level tax is set to Bellevue sales tax because this is the tax structure that's applied to my business location. But we do want to ship this to the customer. So in my little drop down for my delivery mode, I'm going to choose items will be delivered to the shipping address. This will switch my sales tax to be Seattle sales tax because that is the zip code and address that we'd be shipping to. Once you get that on there, if you want to tie in a salesperson over here, here's your opportunity to select your associated employee. Maybe Cameron is going to be associated with this sale, so she'll be getting that commission in that case. Now, when it comes to adding the items, very simply, we can either start to search out the SKU that you have or maybe the item name, or you can come over here to the drop down and you can choose this way. As soon as you start typing something like 8, anything with the word 8 now is going to be shown up over here as well. So let's say that we want to sell this customer this counter height stool. So it's going to go into my little grid. We got the quantity in there. We have the unit price. The unit price is coming from the sales price that's in the item manager. But we do have an opportunity to give it the same discount. So maybe $10 off, or if you want to do 10% off. If you give any discount, it's going to show up as a narration in here, and it'll also show up as a narration on the printed document as well. Another good thing over here is if you keep scrolling to the right, we can tell the system on which warehouse this item will be pulling from. So we actually have the warehouse show up at the top over here. So we can select the warehouse for all my items over here. We can either tell the system to use this for all the items, or if you want, if we had another item in here, let's say this Shenandoah item over here. If I scroll to the right, they're both saying pretty much my main warehouse. But for example, if this item was being pulled from a showroom warehouse or a different location, you can see I have Althea showroom. So if this item was lying in there, we can select that on the actual line level there. Now that we have the warehouses all sorted out, we can scroll over here. There's that same narration saving, the customer is saving that amount of money, and then we can keep on going. So once we go down into the pay now, we're going to click that button. It's going to move us into the payment section. Now here we need to tell AltheaSuite what exactly is happening as far as a customer giving us money, or if we need to put this under a balance. So in my account, the balance is just called balance. This might say something else like customer account, or it could have been renamed, but generally it's going to be under the balance payment mode. And for example, if we wanted to say this customer is going to be owing us this $835.26 throughout time, we'll just go ahead and apply that to his balance. Now, we do offer the ability to do some splits here. So for example, let's say the customer wants to give us a little bit of money. Maybe he's got $100 in cash that he wants to give us. And then now he wants to put everything under a balance. Instead of the whole 835.26, now we're only putting 735.26. So we do allow that way. Some people would like to split their card payments up. So let's back out that. So if you need to reset this pending amount back to 0, we just need to go to each one of these payment modes and backspace them out. So if we do a card payment, you can see my account is connected to a terminal. But for the sake of this, I'll go ahead and process this card manually. We do not offer you to do 2 card transactions in the same transaction. So if you want to do your first card payment, we'll have to do this. So if we want to do this in half, so maybe $400 on this credit card, and then we will need to go to the balance in order to at least save this as a balance for the time being. And then what we need to do is receive a payment after that to collect the second card payment in this case. So card payment there, maybe the card is a MasterCard, maybe it ends with those numbers. So card payment, here's the first card payment. We're going to be saving the rest, the $435 for a second card payment, but in the time being, we're going to keep it as a balance for now. We do need to make sure that the balance is there. Otherwise, AltheaSuite will not let us continue if the pending amount is not zeroed out. So now I'm gonna hit that save button. This will now save the invoice in AltheaSuite. It's gonna show up in here. You can see it's got all the information. It's red right now because I don't have any stock of the items that are in this invoice, so I won't be able to deliver at this point. But because those items are to be delivered, they're now showing up in our pending delivery queue. Now, as far as clearing out the payment for this invoice, if I scroll to the right, you can see first the dispatch status says pending because we haven't delivered anything yet. And also our payment status is pending too because we still owe, the customer still owes us $435.26. Now, if you want to do the second card payment, this is the opportunity that you'll need to do it in order to update that payment status to be cleared. So go to the context menu there, and on the sales invoice, if you scroll down a little bit, we have this option to receive payment. Now, because we're doing this off of the sales invoice context menu, it's already going to automatically select the customer there. So customer there, Mr. Bill Nye, he actually has a lot of invoices, but this is the invoice that we just did today, so January 17th. So AltheaSuite does count how many days these invoices have been under balance. So his most latest one, it's over 284 days late. It's invoice number 109. He still owes us this amount of money. So AltheaSuite does keep track of how many days since the invoice has been saved that has been under a balance. But whatever invoice that we're talking about, we're going to go and highlight that so we can check that. And that's going to give us the 435.26. And then here's our opportunity to go back to our card payment. This is still communicating to my Clover device. So I could go here, click on that and process this. But once I hit that create button, it will prompt my terminal to go ahead and collect the rest of the money. But for the case of this tutorial, I'll say that I processed this manually, giving us a $0 pending amount there. So maybe his second card was an AMX. And then once I hit create, that's going to go ahead and substantiate it on this invoice. And if I scroll to the right, now its payment has been cleared and now he has a $0 pending balance. To show you this even further, if I go into the invoice by clicking the document number, this will put it in the view mode. And if I scroll down, you can see all the different payment narrations I've made. So first, a card payment was made, was processed manually, and then I saved this as a balance, and then immediately afterwards, I took another payment. So that's how to do double payments in the case of sales invoicing. This also would be the same way you would need to do for any deposits. You just need to do the first deposit for the desired amount, and then you need to go back and do a second deposit. We don't offer you to do two different card transactions on the same terminal at the same time. So this is sales invoicing. In AltheaSuite, as soon as the sales invoice is created and saved sitting in here like this, there is now a tax liability. You can see there's a tax total. So as soon as this gets saved, your collection reports will get increased, and then your Department of Revenue report will also get increased, showing you that you owe the state this amount of taxes. So that is how to create sales invoices in AltheaSuite. Thank you.